Hello and welcome to our coverage of the third round of this year's championship, the EWS Val di Fassa Trentino. This region of the Italian Dolomites has rapidly become a rider favourite on the tour and offers not only breathtaking scenery but a racecourse to match anything else you'll find anywhere. 42 kilometres of racing this weekend, some absolute belters of stages, and they culminated with the biggest. Tutti Frutti awaited at the end of the day as one of the most iconic tests in modern enduro racing. Saturday's pro stage kicked the weekend's racing off and set the scene perfectly. Isabeau Courdurier, the winner of the previous round, kicked things off exactly as she had left off with a win. She put 3 seconds into second place. Ibis's Raffaella Richter was second and the Rocky Mountain race face rider Adriana Lanfianado was third. There is confirmation then of how things stood after the pro stage. Morgane, Charre and Harriet in close contention, starting day 2 in 4th and 5th respectively. Whatever loose rocks remained on Chiazates, they got out of the way for this man. Richie Rude, tied on points with Jesse Melamed on the way into this one, emerged with a handful more. Rude, imperious and hunting down a third EWS overall title. But Jesse wasn't far behind. The Canadian champ was just a handful of seconds behind Rude and looking sharp, as was Slavomir Lukasic. The big Pole put down a stellar run to claim third. And that is how the pro men would start day 2. Rude from Melamed from a trio of Canyon riders, including Jack Moyer, the champ, in 5th. And with that then, it was time to get the racing underway for day 2 of the EWS Val di Fassa Trentino. The Dolomites awaited. Morgane Charre had ridden her way to 4th on the pro stage, but started off day 2 by going faster again. She was second on stage 2, Titans. The reigning champion Melanie Pujan was 3rd on the stage. The sun came out on Sunday morning, and given that she was at a bike race and had a number on her back, Isabeau Courdurier decided to get down to business. She was fastest by a crushing 8 seconds. Slavomir Lukasic was feeling up for this one. He pushed hard on stage 2 to come 4th on the stage and held on to his 3rd place on the road. Sunday did not get off to a good start for Richie Rude. Although 3rd on the stage, he had been down a crash right at the start of the day. Eddie Masters, 3rd in the standings as we arrived in Italy, rode well to take the 2nd fastest time on the stage. But there was no catching Melamed. Jesse started the day in fine form. He took the win on Titans by a commanding 6 seconds, which put him into the lead of the race.
Bit of a rough first one, but found my groove in the trail, which is nice. I've trained to attack, so I don't really feel like I need to save anything for these ones. Might regret those words, but I only know how to go fast, so that's what I'm going to do.
Messadots was the 3rd stage, the 2nd longest of the day at 3.5 kilometres in length. Trek's Harnden pipped Morgane Charre to 2nd on the stage. The Briton won her first EWS back in La Tuile 2021 and was riding herself back into this one. She had work to do though. Isabeau Courdurier won the stage by 6 seconds. Her lead was now 26 seconds in the overall from Morgane Charre and Harnden 33 seconds back.
It's going pretty good so far. It's quite hard, I think, with the altitude and like a lot of punchy climbs. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
In the pro men's race, Rhys Werner was on the move. The Canadian was up 5 spots into 5th in the overall. Martin Mays was also pushing hard and was now in range of Eddie Masters' 3rd position. Out front, Richie led the stage. Momentarily, Melamed took the win on the 3rd stage by just over a second from the Yeti rider and was now in the lead by just under 5. The lead had grown, if not by much. The penultimate stage beckoned, and it was a fast and crater-filled glue vine. Raffaella Richter was in third place, keen to prove that her initial pace in the Dolomites was no flash in the pan. That moved her up into a podium position with one stage to go. Second on the stage was the enigma Melanie Pujan. When fully in her stride last season, the Frenchwoman was unbeatable, but in 2022, she was still hunting for her first stage win. She came close to getting it on this one, but the as yet undefeated Courdurier took yet another stage victory on 4.
Yeah, and quite a massive one to finish the day. It's pretty much like in Petzen. We have a very big stage where everything can still be done. So yeah, let's go after it.
The race leader Jesse Melamed finished the 4th stage in third. After a virtually faultless morning, his lead was slashed by 3.6 seconds. Eddie Masters continued to be the only racer seemingly capable of living with the pace of the two leaders and separated them to finish second on 4. Ruud won the stage. He wasn't in the lead, but he had reined Melamed in. Only a second now separated them.
It's been alright. Yeah, obviously been quick and had a mistake on the first stage, but yeah, I feel like I pushed pretty hard on that one. The shorter one of the day, and I was happy with that, so that's a little bit of a confidence booster, but a couple seconds behind Jesse and just looking to throw it down the last one and have a good time, I guess.
And here is how it was poised as the pros made their collective way to the top of Tutti Frutti. Isabeau Courdurier's lead was chunky to say the least. She was lining herself up to be the first racer to win every stage at a round in 2022. Behind her, Morgane Charre was 29 seconds back, just ahead of Richter and Harnden, who remained locked together. And in the pro men's race, 1.2 seconds separated the title rivals. Eddie Masters had a 9.5 second buffer ahead of Lukasik, who himself was now under pressure from Martin Mays. The ridgeline that acts as the opening stanza of Tutti Frutti is one of the most beautiful in all of Europe, but although beautiful, the stage is one of the longest and most savage tests in the Dolomites. Once again, the plunge from the ridge to Cannatsai town centre would settle things. It would be heartbreak for Raffaella Richter. Tutti Frutti takes no prisoners, and the German rider's hopes were dashed by a front puncture. She was out of contention and would be forced to finish the day in 8th. Richter's ruin was Harnden's gain. Trek's British star would collect third after a consistent day at the office. She also took home some all-important Queen Stage points by winning the toughest test of the weekend. Morgane Charre at full charge has the beating of Isabeau Courdurier, but it wasn't to be today. The Pivot Factory racing rider netted another podium finish in second, but taking the win in no uncertain terms was Isabeau Courdurier. The Lapierre Zip Collective racer had dominated in the Dolomites and took her second victory of the year.
I had a super good day. It was sunny, people were out there cheering for us and just tried to manage to keep it flow. I did on the first stage. It was very hard to manage because at one point you want to go fast, but it was so slippery and with some quite technical sections that I had a lot of moments there. But then I was like, okay, calm down and just ride, and that's what I did on the next stage, which felt a bit smoother.
Eddie Masters looked fast from the moment his bike crossed the start line on Saturday, and the Kiwi who tasted EWS victory back in Les Ors in 2019 slotted home in third on the Queen Stage to take third in the overall. All eyes were once again on the clock, with only 2 riders left to go. Jesse Melamed had barely put a wheel wrong all weekend. His racing has become measured, precise and deadly accurate. He beat Richie Ruud fair and square on the Monster final stage at the previous round in Austria and Slovenia, but he just couldn't do it again in Italy. Richie Ruud had crashed early on Sunday and it had woken something up in the big American. He had clawed back Melamed's lead piece by piece, and on the final stage he had managed to summon up the knockout blow. Richie won the stage by 6.6 seconds and took the win.
Started the day with a crash and then not the best stage 3, but yeah, I had a really good stage 4, and then I was kind of bringing that little bit of hype into the last stage, and yeah, it's definitely good. I know old Jesse will be pretty hungry after missing this win, but yeah, excited for a bit of a break and the reset and coming to Whistler.
Here are the confirmed results then. Isabeau Courdurier takes her second victory of the season. Charre and Harnden are second and third respectively, and Andriane Lamphine-Nadeau put together a fantastic late charge to climb her way up to fourth. The defending overall winner Melanie Pujan was fifth, and Rafaela Richter suffered the final stage heartbreak to drop 5 spots down to 8th. The UCI World Cup downhill overall champ from 2021, Valley Hull, came home in 10th. Richie Rude takes the win for Yeti Fox. Jesse Melamed took second. He'll have been disappointed but leaves with a boatload of points to console himself with. Third place went to Eddie Masters of Pivot Factory Racing. Martin Mays rode well all day to finish in 4th place ahead of Slavomir Lukasik, who was 5th. Alex Rudeau was a superb 7th, just ahead of Rhys Werner in 8th. Isabeau Courdurier leads the way in the pro women's overall then. Morgane Charre is 2nd and Hattie Harnden is now 3rd. The pairing of Rude and Melamed arrived in Trentino locked together in the points, and after a battle in the Dolomites, it is the American who now has the yellow overall points leaders race plate. And in the team's championship, Pivot Factory Racing remain the class of the field at the top of the table. And that is it from EWS Val di Fassa Trentino. It has been a late but frenetic first block of Enduro World Series racing. We're going to take a short break for a few weeks, but the good news is that when we return in July, it will be with something special. The return of EWS Whistler. We'll see you there.